Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
The following portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie is on Grand Bahama at this hour for a major announcement. It's reported that he's set to announce the reopening of the Reef Village Hotel at the Grand Lucayan Resort. The Reef Village, which is part of the Hutchison Hotel properties, has been closed since March of 2011 due to low occupancy levels. It's understood that a Canadian company, the Sunwing Travel Group, will lease the 480-room property from Hutchison with a view to strengthening Grand Bahama's tourism product. Prime Minister Christie, Dr. John Meredith, Group Managing Director of Hutchison and Vice President of the Canadian firm Sunwing Travel Group, are among the speakers expected to address this evening's press conference. The Sunwing Travel Group, according to Profit Magazine, is one of Canada's largest vertically integrated travel companies and has been listed for the 6th consecutive year as one of Canada's fastest growing companies. We'll have a full report on the opening tomorrow. Meantime, the Wyndham Nassau Resort and Crystal Palace Casino reopened today after a 6-week closure. This closure has taken place around the same time for several years now as the hotel expects its lowest occupancy levels. Back in September, the decision was made to offer about 1,000 employees early retirement or voluntary separation. We visited the site today and all appeared to be in order. However, we were unable to receive a comment from officials of the property as they were tied up in meetings all day. We also contacted Bahamas Hotel Union President Nicole Martin to get an idea of how many employees may return to work at the property, but she didn't have a number available at the time. Touted as the largest public infrastructural project in the history of the Bahamas, the second phase of the Lynden Pinling International Airport, a brand new international and domestic arrivals terminal, is now open. As Altavi's Munnings tells us, Nassau Airport Development Company officials promise to promote a truly Bahamian cultural experience throughout the nation's gateway.
The first passengers arrived at Lynden Pinling International Airport's new international and domestic arrivals terminal shortly after 9 o'clock Tuesday morning on JetBlue's Flight 1791 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. During the terminal's official opening ceremony Tuesday night, Nassau Airport Development Company officials unveiled the new 226,000 square foot facility that houses Bahamas Immigration and Customs, a state-of-the-art baggage belt system, 4 restaurants, bars, lounges, and 6 hotel reception lobbies.
The new LPIA has a distinctive Bahamian sense of place. The new LPIA has created opportunities for Bahamians. The new LPIA will allow for air service growth. And the new LPIA will provide a world-class customer service experience.
It was back in 2006 when the Christie administration and the former Vancouver Services Company, or YVRAS, signed a 10-year management agreement with NAD. Fast forward 6 years later, and Prime Minister Perry Christie is pleased with the work done so far, particularly when it comes to financing.
Lynden Pinling International Airport has moved from an airport that was more than a $20 million annual drain on the public purse to one that has now met the expectations for being self-sustaining. As Minister of Finance, I am pleased that the financing model used for this redevelopment project is fairly unique in the region and is being studied and replicated in some other places.
In July 2006, the Christie administration renamed the country's main gateway Lynden Pinling International Airport. Transport and Aviation Minister Glenys Hannah Martin reminded those in attendance that the goal was to honor the father of the nation, who led our people and country into the most pivotal era in our national development and formation of our national identity.
I am very pleased that as part of the final stages of this project, the government will commission a bronze statue in the likeness of Sir Lynden Pinling, which will be prominently and appropriately positioned at this airport to commemorate the 40th anniversary of our nation's independence. A committee has been appointed, chaired by Dr. Gail Saunders, which has shortlisted a number of structural artists who have been invited to make conceptual submissions by the end of this week, from which will be made a final selection.
International and domestic passengers will get a royal welcome when they arrive at LPIA's new terminal. Behind me is the statue of a Royal Bahamas police officer mounted at the new terminal. It's all a part of the Bahamian cultural experience to ensure visitors and residents feel at home. I'm Altaviz Munnings for the ZNS News Network.
Parliamentarians returned to the House of Assembly today, introducing a resolution to borrow $77 million to complete the New Providence Road Improvement Project. Carla Palmer tells us that while the government explained why the loan was necessary, the opposition found itself on the defensive as it gave its side of the story on the lingering over-budget project.
The New Providence Road Improvement Project should have been completed since October 21st, 2011. However, 1 year later, following several approved extensions, the roadworks remain incomplete. The project has been further set back by cost overruns amounting to more than $100 million. That's why the government has now moved to borrow the estimated remaining funds of $77 million from the Inter-American Development Bank. Introducing the resolution was Minister of State for Finance, the Honorable Michael Halkitis.
I should stress at this point, Mr. Speaker, that these funds are to complete the New Providence Transport Program and does not represent any extension of works or any new works.
The project was initially estimated to cost $112 million in total. However, with the cost overruns, it's expected to cost $206 million.
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the loan only seeks to fund the inefficiencies of the past and does not repair damages to businesses adversely impacted by the challenges during the execution of this project. In short order, Mr. Speaker, I expect that the government will be in a position to announce a comprehensive program of support for businesses whose operations were negatively impacted by the road works.
Minister of Public Works and Urban Development, the Honorable Philip Davis, says to date, 15.6 of the planned 15.7 miles of roadworks have been completed. That's both single-lane and dual carriageway. He assures that once the $77 million is acquired, the roadworks will be completed within the utmost urgency and minimum inconvenience to the public. Still, he maintains the roadworks delay could have been avoided.
It's an expense and a cost, in my view, that could have been avoided. It should have been avoided. And I'm not going to talk about what other good that $100 million cost overrun could have been done, could have inured to the benefit of the Bahamian people.
Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama and former Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Nico Grant, once again defended the cost overruns which occurred on his watch.
Cost overruns on a project of this size are not uncommon. It is common knowledge, Mr. Speaker, that in excess of 50% of the water paid for by the Water and Sewage Corporation is unaccounted for, wasted through leaky pipes in the ground. And we are now questioned as to why we undertook the New Providence Infrastructure Program. The savings that will be realized as a result of the water and sewage works done justify our investment, and the cost overrun that is questioned by the side opposite.
Jose Cataloni Construction Company is carrying out the New Providence Road Improvement Project. I'm Carla Palmer for the ZNS News Network.
After more than 1 year of preparation, history was recently made in the Bahamas as top Bahamian doctors successfully performed the first stem cell procedure, which they say may serve the medical tourism industry in the country well. The 62-year-old American male patient from Florida underwent the hour-long cardiac stem cell implantation at Doctors Hospital 1 week ago. A team from the Bahamas Heart Center, along with Advanced Innovative Medicine of Orlando, Florida, performed the procedure. Leading cardiologist Dr. Conril Brown explains what stem cell therapy, which has not yet been fully approved by the U.S., could mean for the Bahamas medical tourism product.
The first procedure has been done, and we already have a number of other procedures lined up, and we're going to just look at all of the various schedules because, again, we have to bring an entire team together. From the medical touristic side, it presents a niche, meaning that it allows us in the Bahamas to provide a service to people from outside of the country where they could not have gotten that service where they came from, which is what medical tourism is about in the first place. But from a conventional perspective, one would travel because the service is less expensive. From our perspective, this is niche medical tourism where we're able to provide for you in the Bahamas that which you cannot get where you came from.
Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez also weighing in on the idea of stem cell therapy in the Bahamas. Dr. Gomez says he believes that this treatment is the medicine of today and that the Bahamas must stay on top with global trends. However, he says the technique gets controversial when stem cells are derived from newborn placentas.
In terms of where we stand, I think we have to keep up with the medicine of today, and seek to have facilities where those kinds of procedures can be done, where they're being done from stem cells derived from adults, and being used for the purposes that's been approved.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, find out what led to this scene. That story's after the break.